Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Meg. And this is Ger Can Get It. This week, did you watch Heated Rivalry and think, what if this, but sad? We have something for you this week.
Woo!
If they gave awards for makeouts on screen or stage, this guy would get a lifetime achievement. He'll find any excuse to get right to second face. You honestly wouldn't believe it. Dissecting each and every kiss with tongue. There's only one conclusion to come to. It's that Ger can get it. Ger can get it.
I think we need to add a new characteristic.
Okay.
So you know how he can't do household chores? I also think he can't do sports.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna say he can't eat food because I watching him eat that bowl of cereal was real upsetting.
No. Oh, that too. Yes. That too, but also the sport. Like when he's wearing the helmet and it's cocked back at a jaunty angle at which no hockey player has ever worn his. It's like he didn't want to cover his bangs. He was like, they're my best asset. So he like tipped it back.
I'm gonna cry.
And the audacity of having him play a 16-year-old. How old is he when he plays this in this?
He's 20. He's only 20.
Oh, okay. All right, fine.
Was he supposed to be 16? I totally missed the age.
This is yeah, he's supposed to be 16. Yeah, he's supposed to be 16.
He's just a little big for his age.
This is Littlest Hobo era, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He was more committed in Littlest Hobo.
Well, he got a fun dog. Although I have to say, okay, so I feel like I need to like send my passport back to the Canadian embassy because I did not notice that his hockey helmet was on wrong. And that feels like I committed a hate crime against my own country.
I'm coming to get your Canada card.
You should.
Yes.
You should.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that.
Maybe somehow I live in the land of hockey and you don't.
It's really upsetting. I'm gonna go to the local Tim Hortons tonight and just have a double and cry a single tear. So I still can't believe I didn't notice that. But I will say, I do want to say, I thought when they had him skating around, it looked like it was actually him skating, and I thought he did a good job at skating. I mean,
yeah. I think you just have to. Don't you just know how to skate? Are you just born that way?
So many of my people are. I am the exception. I am a very bad skater. I had a lot of lessons. And then you know how people say, oh, like it's like learning to ride a bike, like you learn once and then you know forever. It turns out skating is not like that. It turns out you might learn and then oopsie doodle forget and then try to skate, let's say 20 years later, and then fall on your face over and over again while little kids do laps around you. But
it hurts my feet. Having all that pressure right down the middle of my foot kills my feet. Like I can wear them for like 5 minutes. In fact, when I was little, I had these ones that went on my shoe that had 2 blades. It was superior.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at you, little child murder weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Shing, shing.
Just strapped to any shoe I was wearing, and then I got 2 blades, not 1. It was real nice. It was like wearing the regular roller skate instead of a roller blade.
Skate instead of blade, yeah. I wonder why they don't still have those. I feel like it sounds like both like a good idea and like the kind of thing where I can imagine like 100 lawsuits with a lot of people who've like lost part of their finger. Do you know what I mean? Like it sounds like a good idea that could turn bad very quickly. But I don't know what we're talking. Oh, the name of the program. So I
don't know what we're talking about. Oh, right.
I don't know. Hockey. You guys don't listen for quality. I don't know why you do. Okay, so because you love us, so we are discussing a Canadian hour-long drama program called Sidestreet. We are watching season 3, episode 22, Once a Hero. It's from December 4th, 1977. And it's one of the many programs that we were kindly allowed access to through the Ger Wayne Davies fan club on Facebook. So thank you again, fan club, for having kept this on the tape tree for fully 50 years. Oh my God.
Wow.
So thank you. Yeah, look, what, right? Like 49 years, right? Because if it were 27 now, wouldn't that be 50?
It's 77. Yeah, no, it's 50 years.
Yeah. 49 years old. And the quality was still pretty good. I mean, there's a couple of like scenes where it turns yellow for reasons I don't understand. I don't know if it was like in the original program because it's literally just like one scene at a time where the screen's like, I don't know, yellow haze and then back to normal. But it's much better than the quality, I feel like, of literally any of the other old-timey programs we've watched. So we will upload that to the YouTube page so everyone can watch it. If you feel like, if you feel like you watched Heated Rivalry and you're like, I am too hot and sweaty, I need to feel a little bit bummed out now, we have the antidote for you. But you still want a hockey theme. You're like hockey, but not horny.
Yeah.
I got you. So this was apparently based, according to Wikipedia, which we all know is very accurate. It's apparently was meant to be a TV show about community service police officers instead of the regular pew pew bang bang police officers. With less of a focus on violence than, I guess the CBC had a previous cop type show called The Collaborators, and that was more like Law and Order, down and dirty violent. And as a people, we did not like that. So they're like, what about Gentle Cops? And so the Gentle Cop show was this Sidestreet. I don't know if I really got the vibe of Gentle Cops from watching this, but maybe The Collaborators was just like bloodbath, spaghetti western all day long. I don't know.
I at no point knew what the purpose of the cops in this narrative was.
It's weird.
I was like, I mean, they could have not been there and it would have been fine.
They could have just been the friend of the main character because we'll talk about the relationship. And the guy's cop nature only comes in really in the last like 20 seconds of the episode. Otherwise, it's not at all necessary. But the cops were the main characters. So it's sort of like Law and Order where you had Lenny Briscoe and other guys whose names I don't remember because I just remember Jerry Orbach because he was the GOAT. So like it's like Jerry Orbach in every episode and then there's like a different crime. That's what this was. Only instead of crimes, it was just a midlife crisis, I guess, is what this episode was about.
With middling crimes, yeah.
Very small, very petite crimes.
Tiny crimes, yeah.
The amuse-bouche of crimes, very small. So the only thing that's sort of fun to point out is the main cop in this episode is played by an actor called Donnelly Rhodes. And I don't think that you would recognize him from his later roles by what he looked like in his 30s or 40s. But Rachel, I know that you have seen one of his more famous roles, as have I, because he was in Battlestar Galactica. He was in the remake of Battlestar Galactica as the Doctor. Do you remember the Doctor who was always like chain smoking and stuff? The little tiny Doctor? I feel like we've talked about this.
Vaguely. I think I watched the first season of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh,
although I did see a really good meme of Battlestar Galactica that was like, how did they guess that all an AI needed to do to take over the human race was flatter them and tell them they're pretty? Because it had the blonde lady.
Oh shit! Making it real.
Matt watched all of Battlestar Galactica, and it was present for much of Battlestar Galactica, but I only like paid attention to the first season.
Oh, maybe that was the context that we talked about it in. But I had watched that and I remember liking the Doctor, but like if I showed you I feel bad for this. If I showed you a picture of him in this where he has his like Clark Gable mustache and he's kind of dashing and like the handsome cop character, and then I showed you him as an old man, it looks like someone put pressure on the top of his head and just went just squished him down a little. So he's got kind of that when some men get older and they get what I would very lovingly refer to as bulldog wrinkles. Yeah, where it's sort of like flaps.
Yeah.
Like big labia flaps all over the face. That's what he gets. That's kind of, and he's still a very handsome gentleman, or he was. He's passed away. He passed away in 2018. But anyways, the Doctor on Battlestar Galactica was Canadian, and I think we should all know that. Okay, so he apparently was also in a bunch of soap operas, which I feel like comes through in this. I feel like I'm a soap opera actor is a vibe that
I wondered if this was a soap opera. Like, part of it, adjacent. I was like, it feels a little soap opera-y, especially the long intro. That was like, we're in Canada. This is Canada. Look at the Canadians. Look at that Canadian building. Look, it's the CN Tower. Look, there's more Canada.
Speaking of, do you know who wrote that jazzy intro theme?
Who?
Chuck Mangione.
What did you watch?
The famous like jazz. Here, wait, I don't know. He was like famous for doing like jazzy theme songs and shit. Let me see.
I love that on IMDb it's Sidestreet 1975 dash, as if it never ended.
It's still going on now. It's like ongoing forever. I don't actually remember why Chuck Mangione is famous. He's an American, or he was an American musician. He's got, okay, I'm gonna show you a picture of him and you're gonna be like, oh, I've seen this guy, because he wears this stupid hat. He was an American composer, flugelhorn and trumpet player, actor, and band leader who inspired generations of musicians. His jazz pop music incorporated elements of classical, pop, and rock. He first gained recognition in the 1960s. Let's see. So I can turn it around. Can you see his stupid little hat and the beard? I feel like...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very 70s hat.
Yeah. But I feel like that's... If I like close my eyes and think about Chuck Mangione, that's what he looks like. He's that guy. So he's like a... I don't know, like a jazz music kind of guy. And I think he did at least a couple of theme songs.
Well, it was long. It was song length.
Very long.
It was so long.
He is so proud of that apparently one of his jazz albums has the theme to Sidestreet on it as a song. He's so proud of what a good job he did. He is mainly known for the 1978 smash hit jazz pop title track Feels So Good. I don't know what that song is. Feels So Good?
I don't know.
Maybe? I feel like I've heard this in a dream.
This is reminding me of the part from Preacher where they find out that God's been hanging out at a strip club. And they're like,
I still have not seen that.
Why was he here? Did he have a stripper? Like, was he here for one particular lady? And they were like, no, man. God was here for the jazz. He was an Airwolf.
Who?
The guy that played the lead detective guy. He was an
John Lee
Airwolf.
Rhodes? Good for him.
He was in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a famous guy. I feel bad that I really only know him from Battlestar because everything else was like he was in the soap opera Soap. He was in a whole bunch of stuff.
He was in The Littlest Hobo.
Well, that is, if you're a Canadian actor, you had to.
You were in that one, yeah.
They would hunt you down.
What episode was he in 1980? The Pearls. Not ours. He was in Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
He was only in Sidestreet 10 episodes. This only had 10 episodes.
Well, that was... They said he was in season 3 and season 4 of Sidestreet.
Oh, this says Sidestreet 10 episodes. Nick Rat. Isn't it? Is he Nick?
Yeah, he's Nick. He's a cop named Nick.
Yeah.
Which was significant to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sidestreet. Yeah. So Sidestreet ran from 1975 to 1978. There were 4 seasons, 32 episodes, and these characters, so Nick Rate and Glenn Olson, the 2 cop characters, they're in seasons 2 through 4. So they're in episode number 9 through episode number 32. But maybe, I don't know, I mean, maybe there's somebody they went on vacation, like Carrie-Anne Moss.
It's probably one of those
Matrix.
things. I think IMDb is not always right. Like, because it's self-reported, like people have to report it. It doesn't scrape information, you add it.
Like how it says Sidestreet is still currently airing.
So if it's an abandoned property like Sidestreet, I think it's just a crapshoot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing the CBC is not like on top of protecting its rights. Although I guess we'll find out if we put this on YouTube and they're like, no.
Once again, this is our fishing for rights.
Yeah.
Just fish. What I need to do is upload the 3rd season of Forever Night and see who complains.
Yeah. Figure out who owns it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
The guy who plays Tiny.
Yes. Is he famous?
He played in a TV movie adaptation of Hedda Gabler.
As the judge or as the husband?
As judge.
As the judge, yeah.
Brack. Yeah.
I can see him doing a good job as that. I am still not emotionally over having seen Hedda Gabler at Stratford fully 2 years ago because I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know. I was like, oh, Henrik Ibsen. Is it Henrik Ibsen? Something Ibsen. I was like, I read The Doll's House. I can handle this. Turns out no. Turns out I could not handle that. It was not emotionally in any way prepared. And also walking into that shit with a migraine where, spoiler alert, Hedda Gabler blows her fucking brains out. Yeah. Yeah. My ears were ringing for the rest of the whole day. I was like, I'm emotionally sad and also my brain ouches. I was hurting. Anyway, Sidestreet. Okay. Bringing it back to the show that we really enjoyed.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We enjoyed.
Oh, we did. We so did. He's Judge Appleby in Street Legal. We could have seen him in Street Legal.
I feel like Street Legal was Littlest Hobo, but 10 years later.
Yeah. But he's in it like 7 times. Like he's in it. He's a recurring character.
As the same guy and not like
Uh-huh.
7 different.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
the same guy.
Well, I wouldn't.
No, it's a legitimate question. I get
yeah.
it. No, but the same guy 7 times.
I don't know what it is about either Canadian audiences or the Canadian TV industry, but I feel like every decade we get one show, and that show runs the entire decade, and every actor in Canada has to cycle through at least once. So everyone's got their Little Tobo, and then like the next decade, everyone has their Street Legal, and the next decade, everyone shows up on Murdoch Mysteries. Like we have the one show, and it's everyone in Canada who's working on TV, and we're just like pipeline.
Just throw them all in there.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we're talking about Sidestreet. This episode is from 77, and then as you said, it ran from what, 75? Question mark.
Yeah, 1975 to ... It's still running. It never was officially canceled.
Well, it must have been through like 78. I lost it. I found it. I lost it. 75 through 78. Look at that. We did math in our heads. Okay. So, and it is so old, and this is something that I had to ask my mother to explain to me, like,
he was
when we got
also in
this.
Airwolf.
Well, of course.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Of course.
It is so old.
You said Airwolf, and my body was like, you have to yawn now. Okay. So this program is this program is so old that not only does everyone drink stubby beer bottles, which kids, you're going to have to look up because it's even before my time. I know it was in the 70s. I think maybe early 80s is when they start phasing them out. If you know better, I don't know. But they're like, they're glass beer bottles, but with like little necks and little fat bodies. So every time anyone holds them, they look hilarious and adorable. And I would drink cute beer. Regular beer is kind of ugly. It's like, it's too long. But this is like chode beer. Do you know what I mean? You're like, it's a little cute little baby quail beer. So everyone's drinking stubbies. And more pertinently, and this will come up with another cop program that we watch Ger in whenever we get to it, called To Serve and Protect. But it is so old that it is before Canadians decided that cop cars should look like cop cars. And during this time, we thought cop cars should look like taxis. So what it was all the cop cars were bright fucking yellow. Okay. They're bright yellow, but those were the police cars. And I did ask, when we first downloaded this, I was like, what is this? So I had asked my mom, and she had a friend who was a cop in Toronto, like around this time period. And I think this also phases out in the 80s.
He's in the episode of Puppets Who Kill with Ger.
What? Shut up.
Buttons on a hot tin roof.
Shut up. Is he the judge?
He's the colonel.
The colonel. Oh my God. He's the husband of Urz's character?
Yes.
Wait. Who?
Tiny. Tiny. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm sorry. It came full circle. I was trying to let you talk, and then my brain went, tell her right now. Also in Puppets Who Kill.
Oh my God. That is him.
Do you think they remembered?
Remember when I played your dad? Well,
it was fully 30 years later.
I mean, he remembered that he was in Ikwe, which I'm still like, I'm surprised. That's a characteristic. He's in stuff with guys who play his dad multiple times. He like brings his dads along with him. Yeah. Whenever you're a dad of Ger, you get to be in more shit with him. You just get to be under his wing. So we haven't even talked about it. This is going to take us forever. I'm sorry, audience.
Not that much.
It's real boring. We're trying. So anyway, when you watch this, the yellow cars, those are cop cars. I know I asked like what the deal was, like why Canada decided to go totally different. I don't remember. Maybe I'll remember by the time we get to the next cop thing that we have, because like I said, in that they're also bright yellow. But those are the cop cars. Those were the cop cars till the 80s, and then they changed it to be normal, like every fucking other place on the face of the earth. Cop cars. So I don't know why they're different. So this episode, it's like Law and Order if Law and Order were bad. So there's only 1.5 stories in it. I feel like normally with Law and Order and with most TV shows, you have the A story and the B story. This had like an A story and then A and a half. Like it doesn't even get to like a full B story. So the half story is the 2 cop officers who are in every episode. So Nick Raitt, who's the older one, and Glenn Olson, who's the younger one. They're investigating an embezzlement, but you don't have to care. We don't have to care because they make the younger guy investigate it off camera and solve it off camera.
Yeah.
The whole time. You don't know anything about, I think they briefly mentioned that the embezzlement is like from a store and they think it's one of the employees. They think it's one of like 5 employees who could have had access to it. And that is that is literally as in depth as they go. And then at the very end, at the like 49.5-minute mark, Glenn Olson is arresting a guy. And the guy's like, you caught me for the embezzlement. And you're like, oh, okay. Problem solved, I guess. Cool. So that's the B plot, the side story. And the main story is Howard Tiny Simpson, who will, as you say, go on to marry Urs and get murdered by her, and then Ger starts fucking his eyeglasses in the world's greatest puppet show ever. So Howard Tiny Simpson is a former NHL hockey star, beloved by literally all of Canada, because when you play hockey in Canada, we will kill for you. We love you very much. I kind of love how they try and talk about it like it's a social issue, and I'm like, you're gonna make Canadians not idolize hockey play. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I was like, was this a commentary about how much we pedestal hockey players? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I know what the point is, and the point is that there are serious, important things in the world, and then there's like sports and pop culture and shit. And we need to be able to tell the difference. And obviously, like, we need to care about the things that are actually going on in the news and and that actually matter. Like, I get it. Obviously, now with the world even more on fire than it would have been in 1977, like, I super get it. But in the context of, I was a hockey player and they loved me too much, I'm having a hard time really, really empathizing with this guy's plight. But anyways, so he was a hockey player. He now looks like he's in his 50s, but it's 1977, so he's probably a 30-year-old man. Probably.
Hard to say.
Hard to say with his 20-year-old son, Ger. So he was a hockey player. He's now retired, beloved by all of Canada. And now to make money, he's just doing beer commercials. He only does beer commercials, which, like, now looking back, it feels sort of like extra sad. Like, oh, he could only get beer commercials. But again, I know my people. They would be doing beer commercials now. Like, beer commercials are like the height of sports advertising. Like, that's a big deal. They would have had him on like advertising Wheaties or what's the one that Nigel used to sell? It's not oatmeal.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
It wasn't Oat Bran. It was something else.
Yeah,
Is it Oat Bran?
No, because the slogan was it's not oatmeal.
I don't know.
Oh my God, Rachel. I really like that cereal too. What is it? It's not. Oh, I'm just gonna Google it's not oatmeal and see what happens. Okay. Oatmeal crisp. Google do. Thank you, Google. Oatmeal crisp. It's not oatmeal.
It's not oatmeal.
My childhood was so dumb. But anyway, so all he does now is he does beer commercials, and he's just really fucking messed up and sad about it. But like, he doesn't retire, and he doesn't do anything else. He's just in this downward spiral of doing beer commercials and like trying not to cry in front of people because he's a man and it's 1977 and you can't do that. You'd have to kill yourself. So that's him. His life is going great. There's his wife, Lori, which I feel like I don't understand how they wanted to characterize her, because on the one hand, she's like good wife and mother. And on the other hand, she's like, shut up and do the fucking commercial. You don't need to have feelings. Stop having feelings. Just do the commercial and bring in the money. That's what you're here for. Like, dance, whore. Like, that's the way she treats this old man. And like, I don't feel good about it, but the way that the show views her seems to be like, she's the voice of reason. How did you feel about her, about the wife?
I feel like she's supposed to come off as supportive and like trying to get him through this in a way that's like, why don't you just suck it the fuck up and do the beer commercial so that we can continue having our way of life? And because this keeps you involved in your son's life.
Yes.
And you aren't doing anything else. So you're not quitting beer commercials because you're so busy otherwise. So why don't you just let people love you and don't destroy their heroes?
Yes.
And also be there for your son by being the hockey player he thinks you are.
Yes.
This guy is like, but hockey like takes a lot of time. And I
It's
was too
hard.
good. I was too good at it. And so it took like he's clearly a very successful man who's had a
Yes.
very good career, and he's now
Yes.
in the twilight of his career where he's advertising for beer, and he's big mad about it. Big mad about it. And that's the plot of this whole show. And that's why I said I think the title of this episode should be Man is Too Good at Hockey. 'Cause he's like, I was too good at hockey and now I can't not do hockey.
Yeah.
And his wife is like, okay, then just do hockey. I don't like cleaning the dishes, but I do the dishes. I don't like doing laundry, but I do the laundry. Suck it the fuck up, Tiny, and do a beer commercial.
Well, that's the new title of this episode. Suck it up, Tiny. It's weird because, like, on the one hand, he's sympathetic, like I sympathize with him, but on the other hand, this whole episode it does sort of feel like a soap opera, like everything is so over the top dramatic. And then when I explain to you listeners what his solution is, you're not going to believe me. You're going to have to watch it. You're not going to believe that this is what really happened on this episode of television, but I'm going to try and explain to you Tiny's really sharp crack plan for how to not do beer commercials anymore. I think this is the most Canadian plot ever. Hockey player doesn't want to do beer commercials. I feel like that should be our flag. Just Tiny Simpson sitting there with his head in his hands and a little stubby beer next to him.
Hockey player does crimes so he won't have to do beer commercial. Well, it is like we open with the thing where he's like, I'm going to work on the boat. This is going to be our year. We're going to have the boat in the water. And she's like, you've said that every year for the last 15 years. And he's like, yeah, but like, this is going to be the year. And he gets sad. So she takes his hand and she's like, okay, starting right now, this is going to be your year. So I think she's supposed to be like, okay, take control of your life then.
Yeah, it's just that the rest of the episode, she's like, shut up, bitch, dance for me. It's like,
well, it's like, okay, you're tired of doing the beer commercials. Tell them you're done. Like, then do it well and be finished. And then he keeps acting like this is taking up my entire life. I have no other life. I'm literally only Tiny the hockey player 100% of the time. And yet he appears to simply mope about the countryside for the vast majority of his time.
Correct. Yeah, 50% in the hockey arena and 50% in a field, just staring up at the sky.
Yes. Yeah. Like you have lots of time to be working on your boat if you cut out the moping.
Yeah.
If you cut the moping down 10%, you'd have plenty of time.
And they don't explain why, like, is he financially unable to retire? Like what, like why, do you know what I mean? Like, he is an older guy. He seems like a lot older than I feel like he would be if he had a 16-year-old son. But like, again, whatever. Like, you're a retired hockey player. And you're doing these commercials. Like, have you been able to save? Like, could you retire? Like, why is the option beer commercials till I die or prison? Like, why are those the only options for you, Tiny? But anyway, so everywhere this guy goes, everyone's like, Tiny, I love you. Oh my God, Tiny. And like in my head, I'm like, is this why Ger runs after, like, out of the stage door at Stratford? Because he's like, I can't. The fame is too much. I can't handle it. They're all everywhere.
I need to go do crimes.
I'm sorry. Can you imagine? I had like a little out of body experience. Can you imagine you're a police officer in Stratford and you get like man stealing hams from the local Loblaws and you're like, oh shit, you go over there.
Oh no, no.
Ger with like 2 hams being like, what? Like this was the only way out for me.
No, you know how that call would go. They'd be like, man stealing hams from local convenience store. They'd be like, it's just Ger, just let him go. He's like, stop me, please stop me. And they're like, oh, come on, man, it's fine.
You have to dance for us till you die.
You know you're gonna come back and pay for him later because you're gonna feel bad. And he's like, God damn it, why won't you arrest me? And he's like, just take your ham and go home, Ger. I want out. Then stop auditioning for plays. No.
Never. It's my way of life. You know how I know that he will never ever stop. So you saw Winter's Tale. I separately, on a different day, a different month, saw Winter's Tale. And then also on a different day, on a yet different month, they recorded Winter's Tale, like this version of Winter's Tale, and they put it on Stratfest online, which I highly recommend everyone, like, it's like $8 a month. pay your $8, have a month, watch all the cool stuff that they're in. Like it's really fun. There's a lot of like good quality stuff, and they have some older programs, they have some newer programs. It's not all plays. They didn't pay me. They could if they want to. Hey guys, I'm here. But it's, I don't know. I enjoyed it, and it was so cheap. Do you know what I mean? Like, just like go watch. So I was like, well, I want to see the version of Winter's Tale that they put on there. And look, did I fast forward to the Ger part and then forget to watch the rest of it, and then my subscription lapsed? Like, yes, of course, that's how it happened.
I mean, maybe, sure,
yeah. No, neither of us is surprised that is the thing that happened to me. But I got to the Ger entrance scene, and when both you and I saw it, Ger comes out and everyone like claps and loses their mind, and he kind of like eggs the audience on a little bit. And I was like, better for the dad. I was like, maybe it just kind of, we were both there on nights when the audience was like, oh my God, Garrett Wynne Davies, we love him. Like, yay. No, not exactly. Because in the recorded version, not only does the audience like on its own cheer for him, but he like stops everything to demand that they cheer more and like figure out which section of the audience is cheering better for him in the middle of this fucking dramedy. And I was like, okay, all right. Yeah. So this is, he's where he needs to be. He's okay. He does not have the tiny problem. He is fine. So anyways, Tiny's like, as you said, I'm too famous and people love me too much and I have to do beer commercials for money. So we have him, Howard to Tiny Simpson. We have his wife, Lori, and then we have their child, Gary, who is played by Geraint. And like in the opening credits, there's an announcer. There's like a narrator
they read the guest stars,
and they say Ger's name, and I think they say it wrong. They say Geraint.
Geracteristic Wynne Davies as Gary, and I was like, oh really?
I want to know why he's Gary, like as a character, and why they also call him Gary in so many of his early roles. It kind of feels like, did they think he wouldn't respond to another name? He's an actor. He can handle it. He's trained in this. You tell him his name is Richard, he will be Richard all day long. He has got this shit. Why did you keep calling him Gary? Why? And then when they say his name, they fuck his name up every single goddamn. This poor man.
At least it didn't start with a J.
I'm still not over Geraint. Geraint bums me out because you had to be extra wrong for that to go into print as Geraint. Anyway, so Ger plays a kid hockey player. He's very good at hockey. He wants to be just like his dad and cool and go to the NHL because he's a teen boy who's good at hockey. Like this is not. Do you know what I mean? He's not doing heroin. Like it makes sense. So. We start off, we get to watch him playing hockey, and I got to the credits, and like their actual like college or high school hockey teams, which I thought was kind of cool. They just had like Ger like join in for a day, which I want to be there. I want to be there when like because it was like the St. Michael's School was one of the teams, and I don't remember the name of the other team, but like I want to be there when like the St. Michael's high school kids are told, hey, you guys are going to be in an episode of Sidestreet. And an actor is going to play a player on your team. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. I want to be there when the 20-year-old, 17-year-old high school kids meet 20-year-old Ger. Like theater Ger on ice meets actual rough and tumble hockey kids. Like what? Do you know what I mean? Like what? Like were they like, oh, wow, you're an actor? And were they starstruck? Or were they like, you prissy little bitch? Like, get the fuck out of my way. Like, I will not skate over your face, but like,
maybe the fight was real. He gets in a fight like immediately. He's like slamming somebody against the wall.
I forgot about that.
Establishing dominance. Yeah.
I'm so tough.
Because he does his like face that he does when he's like really bad.
Don't fuck with me. I was in the littlest hobo.
I've worked with Kim Cattrall.
She was tougher than all of you.
And a cow.
I had to shoot a cow. Oh, we're so mean to him. Okay. Poor baby Ger with his whole life ahead of him. Okay.
I know.
So he's a good skater. He's on the ice. He's getting into fights. Oh, he's a rough
doing
and tumble.
hockey, Dad. That's what it looks like.
It does feel very much like he was like,
I do the hockey.
Like how can I skate like I need my dad to love me? Like he really added that. Oh, I'm not crying. I'm crying a little bit. All right. So he skates for his dad's love. Anyways, so we get to the changing room. My brain just turned off the place. So he gets to the changing room afterwards, and the coach, who is the scariest looking man I've ever fucking seen, was he not terrifying?
Yeah,
I feel bad. I know
like,
he's dead
hey,
now.
hey, we're gonna go to another. We're gonna go somewhere special. Can you give me $200? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, man, sure, for a tournament.
We're gonna go to a third location.
A tournament, yes.
Yeah, they're gonna go to a hockey tournament in Halifax. This guy, okay, I know I get a tournament. Yeah, this guy looks like, you know, when you see like scary black and white movies from the 50s and 60s, and there's that guy who talks like this.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah.
That guy.
He's in Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I can tell you exactly. Okay, I didn't know he was in that, but now I can tell you who I'm talking about, and the actor's name is Peter Lorre. Is that Peter Lorre? Is it Peter Lorre who does the like that voice?
No, he's got like a wandering eye.
Peter Lorre has wandering eyes.
Oh, maybe it's him then.
Maybe it is him. I don't know. Let me see. I feel bad. He's always in like scary, spooky shit. Isn't that Peter Lorre?
I like him in Arsenic and Old Lace because he gets to be a smart character. Like he still has the voice, but he doesn't have to be like he doesn't have to be like
the hunchback weirdo. I think it's got to be him because he's also in something called The Man Who Knew Too Much, and the cover image from it has him with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth and his face painted all green. And I like, even with the green face, I'm like, that's the guy. That's him. He's always got, and like, I feel bad. Peter Lorre, I know he's dead now. R.I.P. But I'm sure I'm hoping that wasn't his actual speaking voice. But in all these scary movies, he's just going like, and like, that's what the guy who plays the coach, who I swear to God, the credit said his name was Nick Nichols. The guy who plays the coach looks like Peter Lorre. So like, yeah, him showing up being like, hey guys, give me money. We're going to go to a third location. It's like, oh no, guys, you don't get into a van with him. That's not this kind of movie. I don't want to watch that kind of movie. I don't want to watch Bad Touch Hockey Players, the movie. Anyways, they don't get sexually assaulted if anyone's concerned. It's good. No. So he just looks real rough. Ger's coach is like, we need $200 to go to the hockey tournament in Halifax. Ger goes to talk to his dad, and the dad's like, no, hockey is a death sentence. Blah, it's going to ruin your life.
He's like, touch grass, bro. And then he walks off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ger's like, nuts to this. So I had to watch this scene. Okay. I had to watch this next scene 4 times. No joke, 4 times to understand what was happening. And I think I finally got it, but if I'm wrong, you will have to correct me. So what I think happens is Ger breaks into his dad's trophy cabinet, smashes the glass, pulls out a medal from that his dad won. And I think, based on the weird small comments they made, I think it's meant to be an Olympic medal that he won when he was on the Canadian hockey team against Sweden, because they mentioned like Sweden as the team that he was against. So it's his Olympic medal. So Ger steals it, pawns it for $200, which I hope was a much more impressive amount of money in 1977. And in order to throw suspicion away from himself, after stealing the medal, he walks over to the doorknob of the door into the room with the trophy case, and he whacks himself in the fucking cheek with it. Is that what you believe happened? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is,
yes,
could he not have just opened the cabinet?
It had to look like a crime. And thieves don't use doorknobs.
Because I'm sure no one would have noticed for a very long time if he had just opened it and taken it.
Oh yeah, it's a full trophy cabinet. There's lots of stuff in there.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff in there. And instead he's like, oh, smash glass. And there's not even like a smash glass sound. It like cuts away and then cuts back and the glass is broken. And he's like, doot, doot.
It's very confusing.
Like, I did a thing.
And then when he hits himself in the face with the doorknob, I originally thought that he somehow slipped with the medal and accidentally walloped himself in the face with the Olympic medal. So it was like, Patoy! I was like, what? What are you? And then the 4th time is where I saw him like going up to the doorknob, stealing himself, and then being like, all right, I have to do this to make it look like the thieves hit me in the head with a fucking doorknob.
Yeah, and they broke in and they broke the trophy cabinet and they took only one thing.
Correct. It was an unsolvable crime created by a genius.
And I love that later Tiny is like, I don't care who stole my medal. And
But they hit the kid in the face.
I thought it was because they knew it was their son the whole time, and they were like,
Mom did.
It's fine. It's
And
fine. I don't care." And then they find
Yeah.
out it's him, and they're like, "You son of a bitch." And I was like,
Y
"Wait,
Yeah, I
you
thought you knew.
didn't care that someone had specifically broken into your house, broken your trophy cabinet, and stolen your Olympic medal. You were like, meh, what is it, Tuesday?"
Yeah, their motivations, I feel like, are weird and confusing. Because I will agree with you. The first time I watched, the mom makes a specific comment where she's like, "You know, it was our son, right?" Like as you said, they did not break into the house. They walked into the house and then broke the open trophy cabinet and then bopped our son very gently on the cheek and then closed the door behind them, taking nothing else but one medal. Like,
Yeah.
how many times were you hit in the head with a puck, Tiny? Like, you know it was your son. And he is like, "No, I choose not to believe it. I'm going to have my friend Nick, the cop, investigate." Which to me originally did feel like he knew that Tiny knew it was his son who stole it, and then and didn't want the actual cops to investigate, and thought that like Tiny would smooth it over, or that the Nick the cop would smooth it over, which is what the cop ends up doing. So it feels like both of them know, and then Nick hides the fact that it's the son from the dad, which makes you think, okay, I guess the dad doesn't know. And then at the end, the dad he's like shocked and appalled that it was the son. And it's like, but who else? Who else had a key to your house,
Your mom
Tiny?
is shocked.
Yeah,
Because they get the $200 back, and she's like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean?"
Yeah. Wait a minute. The money came back? What? It's like, how did you
How was he
it?
gonna explain having given his coach $200? Was he just gonna go to the how was he gonna get to the tournament?
I caught that. So Ger goes to the coach with the money, and the coach is like, "But I thought your dad said he wasn't going to give us the money. And also I thought you like weren't coming to practice. You were at math class with your math tutor." And so Ger is like, "The math tutor loved me because I'm a super cool hockey player, because that's what life is like. So he let me leave early." And I think he says like, "My dad changed his mind." He like has like a throw off, like, yeah, they changed their mind. Here's the money. It's fine now. Don't worry about it, man. Here's the money. And the coach is like, "Okay."
Yeah, but then Ger was gonna have to go to the tournament. Like, he now has to go to Halifax.
I mean, that's true. Well, his parents are like dumb enough.
How was he gonna be like, "Well, somebody gave me $200." I think that's where he's going when they pick him up, because he's carrying all of his stuff.
Oh yeah.
And the cop comes and picks him up. But I don't know that he is, because then later they imply that like, well, we kind of really want him to go. Maybe you could still have him go. And I'm like, okay, but at some point he was going to have to leave and go on this tournament, and he was just going to be gone for days, and his parents were going to be like, "Well, it's the 70s. He's somewhere."
I think number one, the show did not think that in depth about how he was actually going to convince. I think number two, he is playing Nick the Brick Jr. and his character is a fucking idiot. Yeah, and then I think three, you nailed it on the head. It's the 70s. Their kid could have been gone for a whole weekend. It would have been like, he'll come back. He knows where he lives. He's a stray cat. He knows where he sleeps. He'll come back. He'll come back. So, so Ger bops himself on the cheek with a doorknob, takes the medal over to a pawn shop. They give him $200 exactly, which is neat. Then he goes to the coach and is like, "Here's the money." And the coach is like, "No further questions." And so Tiny will have his old friend, Officer Nick Rate, investigate. And in 2 minutes, what?
Oh, it's his old friend that he only reunites with. For some reason, he goes to are they going to the hockey game? Like, his buddy shows up and he's like, "I got some tickets from some scalpers." And then they're like walking down the steps and he's like, "Oh man, this used to be my old beat." And he's like, "I used to protect Tiny or whatever. Like, I used to be Tiny's bodyguard." And then Tiny's like, "Oh my God, that guy that I forgot existed. How are you? Weren't you going to be a judge? How's it being a judge?" And then all of a sudden he's like showing up at his house, which he shows up at his house. The guy's cooking like in his boxers and he shows up with pizza and he's like, I didn't want to call because I was worried you'd say you were busy. And I was like, wait a minute, is this Heated Rivalry? What are we watching right now?
It did
I was
feel like if it had turned into a sex scene, it would have felt natural. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, they gonna fuck. Like that's it's like, oh, this was about to happen right now. Cause then he's like holds up liquor and a pizza and he's like, hey, you wanna hang out? And then later he's like drunk on his couch. He's like, so man, you ever just really good at something and people won't let you like not be good at it? I was like, what is happening?
They do have the closest that you're going to get to a male bonding heart to heart in the 70s, which is two drunk guys on their couch talking with the good old days. Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I agree with you. When I was watching it, I don't know why in my head the order was reversed. Like they knew that the break-in had happened, and so they go and see Tiny in the arena, but it's the opposite. They go to the arena, and Tiny's like, "Oh my God, you're a cop. We used to be friends. Will you investigate my crime?" And the cop is like, all right, sure. It's not like I have an embezzlement case to work on or anything that I'm assigned to for work. Why not, Tiny? You're a national hero and we love you. Sure. So he figures out the crime in about 30 seconds. He goes and finds Ger, as you said, walking down the highway like he's looking for littlest hobo. So he finds him and he's like, hey, I know you done did the crime. And Ger's like, what? What part of my master plan gave me away? And the cop's like, because you only play dumb characters. And Ger's like, yeah, that is correct. So they go back to the pawn shop. He gets the money back from the coach. He just tells him like, my dad changed his mind a third time. Give me the money. And then he goes to the pawn shop, gives the pawn shop guy the money. The pawn shop guy gives it, how do they do it? They get the medal back. They get the medal back.
I don't know. Stuff happens. They get the medal back.
Oh, because pawn shop guy is holding on to the medal.
Yeah.
So pawn shop guy gets the money back. He gives the medal back to Ger. Ger gives the medal to the cop, and the cop goes to Tiny, and he's like, hey, we found the pawn shop where the medal was, but the guy didn't remember who pawned it to him. It's a mystery for the ages. We can't figure it out. Don't worry about it. And Tiny's like, okay, no further questions. Check that off my list. Everything's fine now, and I can go back to having an emotional fucking crisis. And that's like about where Ger's role in this ends. He breaks into the cabinet. He has to return the thing he stole from the cabinet, and then he disappears for 40 minutes while this Tiny guy just gets increasingly drunker and drunker and has increasingly like emotionally cathartic, like a mental breakdown moment for the last 40 minutes of this episode. It goes so hard, so fast.
And the cop follows him around, or he keeps calling the cop and having him come to him. Yes.
Yeah.
And they just reconnected. And this guy's supposed to be working on a fraud case. And his buddy, his friend cop isn't working on the fraud case, not him.
Yeah.
And then the cop boss shows up. I'm leading into this because I have a question about this. Because the like head of the department shows up and he's like, the fuck you doing? Like clearly your partner is working like I would like a report on what you've been doing this week. And he's like, okay. So he writes up the report and he gives it to him. And later the guy's reading it like a book. And he's like, how's the report? And he's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it's like, what did he put in the report? Well, then I hung out with Tiny. And Tiny's having a crisis right now. And so like, I felt like as a national hero, he needed my support. And I didn't get to follow my dreams. And he got to follow his dreams, but then he realized that his dreams were maybe not his dreams, but like maybe he wanted different dreams. And so like I sat with him on a boat and we talked and we drank tiny beer bottles. And then like his son stole some shit, which is like sad, but and like that's literally the only thing he could have put in this report. But the guy's he literally goes, oh, it's so good.
I know that the boss makes a comment. I don't remember the exact words he uses, but it sounded like thank you for giving me the story of the emotional trauma of our national hockey hero.
Yes, because that's when Tiny calls and he's like in the locker room, like scratching himself out of the, like greatest players. He's like, hey.
It is a full-on mental break. And did you catch the characteristic? Did you catch my favorite characteristic where someone has to sadly recite a fucking children's poem as they have a mental breakdown? This is the second time. It's weird to happen twice. Last time it was Wee Willie Winky, and this time it's Humpty Dumpty. He just, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. As you said, he is scratching out pictures of himself from a calendar that says like 1963 Canadian hockey team, and he's like, Humpty Dumpty. And I was like, this man's going to kill himself.
I know, that's what I thought too. I was like, what is happening? And the chief is like, oh, you got to go to him. You've got to go. You go right now. He needs you. Like, he goes from being like, explain yourself, sir. You are not doing your job, to like, oh no, you are doing so much more.
Oh shit, was it Tiny Simpson? Is Tiny Simpson in trouble?
A hockey player needs you? Oh my God, drop everything. And he's like, go help Tiny. And they're driving around like, where could Tiny be? And finally he's like, where do you go to worship God or something? And he's like, at the temple.
I wrote this down. I'm going to find the exact quote because this is where I lost my mind. So the two officers, so they've just received the phone call of Tiny being like, Humpty Dumpty. And so they know that he is not in a good place. And so they're like, we got to find him. But obviously this is before caller ID. They don't know where he is. And so they're like, where would he be? Where would he be? And so the younger cop goes, so they know that let me back up like 6 steps. So Tiny this whole time has been talking about not wanting to be famous and not wanting to be beloved and not wanting to do beer commercials and just wanting to be done with it. And he's like, I can't quit. The only way that I will be free of all this is if all of Canada hates me, then I will be free of all of this. And he's going, how can I make this happen? How can I make everyone hate me? What can I do? How can I ruin my image? How can I kill the idea of myself that exists in the hearts and minds of every Canadian child? Like, what can I do? So the cops know that this is what's on his mind. So as they're driving, the little one goes, if he's going to ruin his image, where would he go to do that? Like, where would he go that's the most impactful? And then the littlest cop goes, sacrifices take place at the temple. Where would the temple be? Well, obviously the temple of hockey is the arena, is Maple Leaf Gardens. So he literally goes, sacrifices take place at the temple. Aha, the gardens. And they turn around on the highway and they race there. And I was like, I can't tell if that's the most beautiful poetic thing I've ever heard or the stupidest crock of horse shit. And I'm surprised that the Venn diagram of stupid crock of horse shit and beautiful poetry, those two circles overlap. I'm a little surprised by that, but somehow you found that exact sliver where those two lines just cross and bleed into each other. So they get to the hockey arena.
Would it help you to know what they call a U-turn up in the Upper Peninsula?
Yes.
Whipping a shitty.
I haven't heard that expression in such a long time.
So they whip a shitty and they go back to the gardens. You're welcome.
Oh,
just sprinkling it in there.
That
I feel like it really
my heart.
adds to the poetry of this, especially if he was like, whip a shitty, bro.
I do feel like this entire episode would benefit from being run through a Gen Z slang filter. Like, I think that would really, Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the whole point of this is that he doesn't want his son to follow in his footsteps.
Correct.
Because he gave his life to hockey. And he was immensely successful and he had a great career and everybody loves him and he has jobs and he can't turn them away because there's so many of them and his life sucks. Well, it doesn't suck, but it does suck. And I mean, he has that moment in the locker room when he's like, even if you have cracks in your shin, you still have to keep skating. Like he's talking about how hard it was physically for him to do it. And
just keep dancing. Yeah.
And he doesn't want his son to do that. And so that's why he's taken away the Halifax tournament, right? And so we go through all of this, and at the very end he's like, Matt, go to the tournament. Ger's like, I'm gonna be just as good at hockey as you, Dad. And
that scene, I love that scene so much. Okay, so at some point prior to the Humpty Dumpty breakdown, He's in the hockey arena. He had been filming a beer commercial. He told them to fuck off and go away. He wasn't going to film anymore. So they all leave. He calls the wife and says, it says, come down to the arena, bring the son, bring Ger, bring the son, come down here. And he's having this full mental breakdown. And I don't know if it's a sign of good writing or bad writing in this moment, because I want him to be able to explain, to verbalize to young Gary what this hockey career has taken from him. Because he's never, like, we the audience know, like we see this the press, the pressure he's under, the stresses that he's under. We know that his body has physically aged and been injured and patched up and injured again. Like, we see the toll that it's taken on him. And he keeps mentioning, like, I wanted to be more than just an athlete. I wanted to be more than just a hockey player. And because I dedicated my whole life to hockey, like, I don't have a degree in something else. I couldn't go be an accountant. I couldn't go be a teacher. I couldn't go be a pilot or a lawyer or a baker or a butcher. I couldn't do anything else. My only skill is hockey, because I've been doing this since the day I was born. I'm going to do it till the day I die. It's ruined me. It's made me depressed. I'm really alone. He doesn't seem to have any other, like, former hockey player friends that he could lean on to talk to. The only person he has who was sort of a friend is this police officer who, as you said, it appears he has not talked to in 20 years. And this guy wasn't even his friend, really. He was a bodyguard that he got sort of chatty with. And he knows that the bodyguard who became a cop always wanted to become a judge, but that pathway is closed to him now. And he wanted to be literally anything other than a hockey player, and now all doors are closed to him now. So, like, there is a real sadness to his character. There are real things that he's lost, and they can be verbalized, but somehow not by him. He's not able to explain in a way that would make sense to son Gary or to anybody else around him what his emotional meltdown is. And so he kind of struggles through saying something to Gary. And like I say, I don't know if it's meant to be like the character has limitations on how he's able to express himself. I feel like probably it's the writer of the episode had some limitations on how he was able to express himself. And so he kind of gives like a half-assed stab at a speech for why he doesn't want Gary to do this. And then he goes, well, here, take the money. Like, here. Like, he does a passive aggressive, because it's, he's the parent of a boomer. So it's an extreme level of passive aggressive. So he's like, here, just take the money anyways. And Gary's character, I love this. He's like, all right, cool, Dad, thanks. I'm going to be a hockey player just like you. And he, like, bounces off. Like, hey, thanks. Like, his dad is just pouring his heart out. Like, hockey ruined my fucking life. Physically, emotionally, psychologically, I am a shell of a man because of hockey. But if you really feel like you need to go, here's the money. And Gary's like, cool.
Thanks for the money, Dad. And then he I love hockey.
Yeah. And I was like, is this supposed to be hilarious? Because this is the funniest. This episode.
I was like, what was that what was that wrap up? I don't understand. Nobody, and he even had that moment where he, like, snapped at him earlier when he was awkwardly eating cereal. And he's like, oh, politics. And Gary's like, what? And he goes, politics, Gary. And Gary's like, I don't know, what? Is it hockey politics? And he's like, no, it's not. And he's like, what, Dad? And he's like, God damn it. And he just leaves, like,
that whole scene.
Like this? Because he's 16, Tiny.
It feels like they wanted to film around the kitchen table, but the kitchen wasn't big enough. So they were like, all right, guys, in this kitchen, there's just a kitchen island. And what everyone does at breakfast is they just bodily lean their whole bodies over the front of the kitchen island, and we'll film you from the side. So Mom is cooking at the stove, and then behind her is this teeny tiny kitchen island. Ger is standing up, leaning his whole front body over the island, eating a bowl of cereal like cereal's not a thing he's ever had in his whole life. He's eating. I can't explain this, but I think listener, you will maybe understand if you try and mentally imagine how you eat soup and cereal kind of differently. I know they're both bowls of wet things, but I feel like the way that we eat them is not the same. I don't think Ger knows that. I think Ger was like, whatever, man, soup, but breakfast. got it. He's like, nom, 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 nom. And it's so, I was like, I'm not listening to anything your dad is saying either, because I'm just watching you house this giant soup bowl full of cereal. Just, it's so weird. And then, yeah, the father is also, there's no chairs. Fuck chairs in this house. So he's also like full from the waist, flopped over, leaning against this teeny tiny island with the newspaper. And he's like, oh, hey, there's a question about Quebec leaving the Union. So like about separate the separatist movement in Quebec, because the 70s is, I guess, one of the times when that was getting big again. So he's talking, but he goes, Quebec leaving the Union, and Ger's like, Quebec has a union? A union of what? A labor union? And that's when the dad's like, no, you fucking idiot. Like, politics. Like, the work. Like, Canada is not just hockey teams. And Garrett's like, that doesn't seem right. And the dad is just like, I can't take this shit anymore. And he runs out of the house. He like slams the door. And Garrett's like, all right, fine, man. And he takes this big hockey bag and has to walk. He has to carry the bag out of the house like he's being a little bitch with a little bitch attitude. But a hockey bag is super huge, so it's kind of hard to have prissy bitch attitude with a 50-pound bag on your shoulder. But he tries, and I appreciate you put the effort in. But yeah, his character gets no emotional arc, no learning, no nothing. So when his dad finally has the full-on mental breakdown, the wee willy winky Humpty Dumpty mental breakdown, Garrett's like, all right, cool, money, like, thanks. He leaves. The wife also leaves. I don't remember her saying anything to him. I just remember her being like, all right, end the scene.
He's like, she stands there for a minute and he's skating and he like knocks a puck in and then he leans over to get the puck and he ends up sitting down and leaning against the goal and he's like, go home, honey. I'll be right behind you. And she's like, okay.
Yeah,
and
why would you leave?
Leaves.
Why would you leave? Like, either he is 50% drunk out of his mind, 50% full on mental breakdown. Why would you leave your spouse during that time?
Well, I think my mental process in that moment would be son, husband, son, husband, son, husband, son. She chose her son. I mean, the odds of him going full like murder suicide is like non-zero. So I'd be like, whatever you're gonna do, you're not predictable right now. I don't know where you are.
Yeah.
So I'm going. She could have gone and then called the police.
Yeah.
That would have been helpful.
That was something. Because
he does instead of just being like, well, he's a man. I respect his decisions.
Yeah, if he kills himself, I guess this is where he wants to do it. Goodbye, spouse. It did feel like he was on the verge. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this, where there's a character who really seems on the verge of doing something so disastrously dangerous and like life-shattering, and the characters around him clock that. They acknowledge that he's in a very vulnerable, possibly violent, scary, on the edge of a cliff place, and they go, okay.
Well, if he wants to. There's the part where he runs the red light and he gets pulled over by the cop and he's like, cool, okay, give me a ticket. And he's like, no, man, you're tiny. And he's like, I ran a red light though, and if I broke a law, you should give me a ticket. And he's like, no, I don't have to give you a ticket.
Yeah, not you.
Not you.
Yeah, so that's the first part of his plan. He's like, I need to do something to make all of Canada not idolize me anymore. And his first thought is, I will dramatically run a red light. So
I will get a traffic ticket.
Yes. And then they will see I am a mortal man like my fellow men. So he runs, he runs the red light, and the cop is like, oh my God. Oh, hey, Tiny. You're as fast in the car as you were on the ice. I love you. So then he's like, God damn it. I guess what I'll have to do is go ape shit in the arena while singing children's songs to myself. So he does that, gives Ger the money. Ger goes hop skipping away. His wife is like, well, if you're going to suicide, you're not doing it in front of me. Peace out, buddy. So then he's there alone. The two cops come in. He's like, arrest me. And they're like, no. And he's like, well, what if I sucker punch you? Pow! So he sucker punches the Nick character onto the ice. And then the Nick character's like, well, I kind of have to arrest you now because you done did punch my teeth out. So they arrest him. And then he does his like, this is the last time on the ice for Tiny Simpson. And like raises his arms. You know, he does the what was that movie? The Don't You Forget About Me movie that John Kapelos was in, the Breakfast Club.
Oh, yeah, Breakfast Club.
He does the Breakfast Club like air punch, like pow, and then they take him away, they arrest him. And then I was like, okay, are they gonna show literally anything after that? No. Nope, that's where it ends.
It. End of line.
End of movie. They're like, well, he didn't want to be loved anymore, and now he's arrested for sucker punching a cop. And in my head, I'm like, look, if a hockey player sucker punching a cop ended their careers, I feel like there'd be a lot fewer hockey players.
Maybe in the 70s it was a bigger deal.
He wasn't law-abiding, not Tiny, not Tiny Simpson. Yeah. Well, this was an episode of television. I don't know how to feel about it because like it somehow is both really sympathetic and also really unsympathetic at the same time. Like
it's like a little all over the place. But by the end I was like, "Ooh, I feel the drama. This feels like drama." And then Ger shows up and he's like, "Hey, Dad, I like hockey." And then he's like, "All right, fine, you're dumb. I can't fix stupid. Here's $200." And he's like, "Thanks, Dad." And he runs off.
I was really hoping for more from the son. Like I was hoping for the son to learn to acknowledge that his dad has pain, which that doesn't even seem on the table, and then to learn from his dad's pain and maybe either decide to do something different or go like, hey, I'm doing hockey, but also I'm doing school and I'm going to get a degree and I'm going to learn so that, if like hockey's not forever. So I have something to fall back on. So I'm not in your position where I'm just stuck doing stubby beer commercials until the sun burns out. Like I was hoping there would be some kind of an arc, but nobody has an arc.
No, well, that would require Tiny to at any point explain to Gary what he's doing.
Which he never does.
He never, ever does. He takes the money. He won't give him the money, but he won't tell him why. And then Gary steals the thing, steals the medal, which he's like, no one will know that I stole my dad's personalized Olympic medal with his name on it.
Perfect crime.
And then perfect crime. He could have stolen literally anything else, but it's fine. And so he pawns that for $200 and then he pays the guy and then he has to give the money back. And he's like, so it's real wishy-washy for Gary. But in the end, he has no idea why. He doesn't know why his dad's finally like, all right, fine, fucking fine here.
Yeah, he doesn't understand anything.
I don't care. He's like, oh, great, thank you. You finally decided to do it. He explains to the wife why he's doing it. He explains to the cop why he's doing it. But the most he does to Gary is when he shouts at him for not knowing that Quebec had a union.
For some reason, the only time he's able to have any kind of an emotional heart-to-heart is when he's drunk with a male friend that he hasn't seen in 20 years.
Yeah.
He talked, you're right that he does talk with the wife a little bit, but it feels like with the wife, he's just sort of complaining, but he doesn't open up with his emotions until he's with the male friend.
Right. Like, he literally just says like, I want him to know what it feels like to be outside on a spring day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we were joking a little bit that when Tiny Simpson shows up at Officer Nick Rate's door with the pizza and the beer and the like, I didn't call ahead of time because I thought that maybe you wouldn't pick up and you wouldn't want to see me and like I need to see you. We were laughing that it feels like it's going to turn into a heated rivalry situation. But honestly, the closest thing that he has to any kind of a romantic, emotional, open relationship where he gets to like be his real self and be respected by someone for showing his emotions and being his real self, like it's that scene. And there's like two scenes I think that have the cop and the former hockey player together just shooting the shit and going like, here's what I'm really feeling, here's my hopes and dreams about what I thought my life would turn out to be, and my disappointment that like with everyone else on the face of the earth, like life didn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to, like being able to really like to open up. Cause when he tries to do this with the wife, even a little bit, she's like, shut up, keep dancing. Like this is, you're good at hockey and people love you. What a big fucking problem, you goddamn crybaby. Like keep dancing. You're keeping all the plates in the air. Like that's your job. You do it. Here's your breakfast of bacon and more bacon. I'm gonna fuck up. Like don't take out your sadness with your life on the kid, which is a fair point, but also they don't engage on that emotional level. They don't have that like that intimacy that he has with this total fucking stranger who admittedly has a very nice, handsome Clark Gable mustache. I can understand wanting to open up to him, but it's just like it almost is more romantic than what he has with the wife.
Yeah. Yeah. They have a lot of chemistry, surprisingly, for there being, I mean, I get where they think they were trying to go, and they pepper enough actual politics in there that I think it's actually supposed to be something like a commentary where it's like, guys, big things are happening. Because there's that part where he gets dressed up in a suit and he goes to watch a hockey game. And the one guy says, like, if Trudeau could shoot that straight, I would vote for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they start making cracks about Trudeau. And I was like, oh, I know that because I watched that documentary about Trudeau. And so, like, big shit's happening in the country right now. And so I think he's trying to be like, lots of things are happening. Hockey is not important. And I think the show is a little bit trying to say that too.
It's 100% trying to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. But in the end, but the part that doesn't make any sense is that Gary learns nothing.
Correct.
Like, nothing in Gary's life changes.
Yeah. It does feel like the show did have the moral of, hey, Canada, like, we need to be less obsessed with sports and pop culture, and we need to be more obsessed with things of actual substance, the politics that are going on at the moment, people's lives, that like the way that these things are actually affecting people's lives in real tangible ways, as opposed to sports and pop culture, which, yes, are fun, but are less important, and we need to realize that they're less important. That lesson doesn't get to the Gary character.
No, it does not trickle down.
It sort of gets to us, but even so, like, having it be, it feels a little bit like Deadly Harvest in that there is a lesson that the show wants us to get, and then we, the audience, sort of get it, but the way that we get it is by the show ruining the lives of every character in it and making them end up in a darker, much worse place. Like, they don't get to learn the lesson and benefit. They learn the lesson at their own detriment. And now, I mean, in Deadly Harvest, everyone is dead or about to be dead. And in this program, this guy is going to jail or prison, probably jail. But the only way for him to escape this cycle is for him to commit a crime. And his son does not learn those lessons and is starting the cycle himself and doesn't know any better because his dad is only able to have an honest conversation while drunk with a stranger and can't have that with him. Like, it's,
yeah,
it feels very much of the 70s where you're watching something and you know that the characters are not, like, you can't root for them, you can't cheer for them because they're all dumb and bad things will happen to them. Like, that's just, I don't know why in the 70s we I guess identified with the characters less, because now if I'm watching a TV program, you know, like, you like the characters generally, like, you want good things to happen for them, like, you're happy with their successes and you're sad with their failures and you're like on the emotional journey with them. And then you watch something from the 70s and it's like, fuck those guys, let's see how many times we can poke them with a stick before the character cries himself off a cliff. Like, it's a different vibe, I feel like.
Oh yeah, the 70s. I think it was the language for talking to the audience wasn't there yet, I think is what it comes down to. Like, we didn't know that a show plays better when the characters are sympathetic. Or, like, if you're trying to teach a lesson, it's better to simplify it and give everybody the lesson instead of just one guy. And I think it's supposed to, there are certain, that we ran into this in when we did the 1979 Dracula series, and we did all of the different Draculas.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the one that has, oh God, what's his name? Why did I just lose every part of that entire movie? But it's Dracula, and he travels to New York City to try to find a bride. And it's got...
That's not the one with the really tan Dracula, is it?
It's really... Yes, yeah. And there's a ton of pop culture jokes. That's the one where every time he meets a black character, they go, "Man, haven't you seen Roots?" And there's just like all of these, you couldn't like, it was physically uncomfortable to watch some of the jokes.
Is it George Hamilton?
It's George Hamilton. Thank you. Yes, that's who's in it. I knew I was somebody that I should know and could not remember. It's funny, otherwise funny, but like there's a guy in the background with a can of cat food, and he's going Murray, because Murray was the cat food like
Oh, the cat from
mascot.
Mix, right?
Yeah, from one of the cat food. What?
Yeah.
So like, there's a whole bunch of like pop culture reference. Like if we went back and watched Scary Movie,
oh, I'm sure a lot of it would feel very dated.
Would be like, whoa, I don't get, like, I'm sure if I showed it to my niece, she wouldn't get half of it.
Right.
And if I showed it to me, I would get all of it, but it would be like, oh my God, I totally fucking forgot about all of that. So I think there's a lot of cultural disconnect when you go back that far, especially when it's trying to connect to a popular like a modern audience, but the modern audience was 1977. So sometimes I think it's a language we don't understand. So I think one of the things we're supposed to get is that when he scuttles his life in this way, when he punches a cop, he's not just ending his career, he's ending Gary's career. Because Gary is trading on being Tiny's son.
Yeah, but I thought he was also like just a good player in his own right.
Right, but if Tiny's punching cops, do we really want his son around?
Okay, so we're thinking that the taint will stain Gary also.
Because he says something like, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing this for Gary.
I kind of thought that it was more like maybe Gary will understand when he's watching me go through like the court process, but I think your version also makes sense. Like it does feel like the only way that I can't talk to Gary, that's off the table. So really the only way that I can explain to him how much hockey has ruined to my life is by interpretive dance. And the interpretive dance that I choose is kicking the shit out of a police officer. Yes. And then Gary will get it. That's how I speak to Gary.
Right. In the same way that like serial killer families, which it's not exactly equivalent, but like, you know, when you're like, oh, wow, your dad did that. Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want you on my team. You know?
Yeah. The stink of a scary family member. Yeah. Okay.
So I think that's one of the things we're supposed to get, but it's not super clear because like today, maybe that wouldn't happen. And also today, he's clearly wanting to leave this because he feels he's smarter than this life he's been placed in, and he wants a place in politics, and he wants a place in a different career. And so today you would say like, stay where you are, but use your platform to get elected.
Or if he to get elected. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like it is not unheard of for a former famous person, be they an actor or athlete, to then make the turn into politics. Like that's the thing that happens literally all the time.
Right. But not then. This is pre-Reagan.
Yeah, but it's like right before Reagan. I mean, I get what you're saying, because I remember seeing that people were like, do we really want an actor to be the president? Like that seems like a weird, and like not that it's not a weird turn.
But he was a terrible president. It was a terrible idea. I'm not
saying this guy, but like as a concept, now you wouldn't be like an actor in politics. Your brain exploding. Like you wouldn't be surprised by that. Maybe in 77 you still would have been, but it does seem like that's the part that seems weirdest to me is I don't know why the beer commercials are a death sentence for him. Because I'm like, okay, you don't want to do beer commercials? I realize you're a hockey player in Canada in 1977. Probably most of your offers are beer commercials, but maybe there's a commercial for something else if you still want to like trade on your fame, if that's a thing you still wanted to do. Or could you become a hockey coach? Could you coach kids, like little kids or adults or whatever? Could you do some other job? I know he's like, oh, I don't have the training to do another job, but it's like, I'm sure there is something you could do that does not require training and maybe just requires money, because I feel like money-wise you're okay. And if money-wise you're okay, could you retire? You were a famous hockey player for a number of years, and then you've been making commercials for long enough that you're pissed off and tired and angry about having to make commercials. And no one at any point mentions like, we need you to make the commercials because otherwise we're going to be destitute. We need you to make commercials to pay off your gambling debt. We need you to do this to put Gary into college. No. Like there's nothing that says to me that you need the money, that there are really truly no other doors open to you. Maybe he's so interested in politics and so against the sport, then like could you become a lobbyist and lobby for things that you think would make hockey less onerous or safer, or increase funding for education of politics for kids so they have a better understanding? Because Gary, I mean like Quebec separatism is not like a niche, quiet, like page 75 of the newspaper issue. The fact that he doesn't even seem aware that separatism is a movement says that Gary is only doing hockey morning, noon, and night and has no idea. But like, is he even showing up to school? Like, has anyone ever checked on him? If you go to the school records, have they ever seen Gary like ever one day? I mean, and the dad makes based on Gary making the comment to his coach, based on that conversation when he shows up with the money, it sounds like Gary was supposed to be getting math tutoring. So not only does he not know politics, it sounds like maybe he's flunking or like about to flunk math class. So he is being done a real disservice. And I feel like it is possible to have student athletes who are both student and athlete, like where you get both.
Yeah.
And obviously the school and his family and the hockey team, all of them are and Gary is failing himself. They're all failing Gary in helping him be a well-rounded person who can, be great at sports, but also still have an educational base to lean back on. Because even if you do only do hockey your entire career, you need to have critical thinking and critical reasoning skills, or you're going to be taken advantage of and you're going to be tricked for the very rest of your life. And I don't know, maybe like vote a former actor into becoming the leader of your country. I don't know. It's just an aside.
Yeah, again.
So just as an example off the top of my head. So I just feel like all of the problems they're talking about, there's 100 ways to deal with Tiny's malaise. There's 100 ways to deal with making sure that young Gary's life turns out better. And the show is like, what if prison? And I'm like, I don't see that. That's your option. That wasn't even on my list of A to Z. That's like Q17 question mark. That's so off the list of the alphabet that it's just on its own. It's just not effective.
And he only does it because the cop makes that comment where he's like, well, if they won't let you leave your legacy, then maybe you need to leave it. Which he probably meant like retire.
Yeah.
Or move. And instead he was like, oh.
It's just such a weird thought process. It's sort of like if you went to a restaurant and they were like, we have ham sandwiches and turkey sandwiches. And you were like, I don't like ham. I really don't like turkey. I guess I'll burn the building down. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that wasn't an option.
Exactly what it's like.
That wasn't even on the list. It wasn't ham, turkey, or arson.
This feels like when I should do my raised eyebrows.
Yes.
Okay.
So how would we raise that? How would we do this?
So we got a guy shouting at him that he was beautiful.
Correct. Oh, we forgot to mention
beginning.
That. We forgot to mention that. Yeah, when
You're
Ger is on
beautiful.
ice. Yeah, there's no context even. Ger is we start off the show with the players playing hockey, and they cut to the not the audience, to the fans in the stands, and literally one guy randomly at Ger goes, "You're so beautiful." Why? Why? I love it.
That was in his contract.
It must be. We keep saying that, but like for it to happen here,
I'm beginning to think it actually might be.
Yeah.
He's like, beautiful people should be together. Eats a sandwich.
It's so bizarre. It's never addressed even. But
no.
It is that plus watching him try to eat cereal. My favorite moments in this whole thing.
Yes,
so it's correct. Sorry, a characteristic of
you are beautiful.
Correct.
Just an inability to do a routine task that anyone else would just be fine with.
Yes.
Yeah. Including I'll include the jaunty helmet angle in that statement.
Hockeying wrong. Correct.
A character that really should know what's going on around him and yet really does not. I feel like it's definitely
correct. Nick the Brick syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's definitely more along the brick rather than the dick.
Oh, correct. Yeah. Yeah. There's no
Yeah.
sexuality in this child character, which
No.
thank you for that
Yeah.
TV show. Oh, and the scene where the police officer stops him when he's walking out of the house and he's asking him questions about the break-in. Ger is wearing fully 3 shirts. Did you notice
Yeah,
that?
he is. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It's the highest turtleneck I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
It's like creeping into his mouth while he's talking to this man. He's like, I talked to my dad, I already told him everything. Like, okay.
Yeah,
And the guy's
yeah.
like, okay, I guess I'll ask him questions then. So he's like, I gotta go to hockey practice. And he
I
just
gotta
leaves.
hide inside my turtleneck.
He's like slowly disappearing into it.
The origin of the Never Nude.
What did this remind me of? It reminded me of something else he'd been in. Oh, the one where he gets arrested because he hears his neighbor get killed.
Vacation.
Paid vacation.
Paid vacation. Thank you.
Paid vacation.
Mhm.
This reminded me of Paid Vacation because every one of his lines was just like, I got to get to the craft services table. I haven't eaten in 30 minutes. And he's just like, he's doing fine, but he's not the Ger he's gonna be. Like, you know what I mean?
Correct,
Like,
yes.
he was okay, but he was definitely Gary Davies in this. He was not ready to be Garrett. Yeah, it's fine. Just like he's Gary in Deadly Harvest, which is this year. Is
Mhm.
it 77 for Deadly
Yeah.
Harvest? Yeah. This is definitely his debut year. So like, I can't believe I remember dates. You couldn't ask me a historical date and have me know it. But I'm like, wasn't he also in Deadly Harvest in 1977? And so also we have the slow, distorted children's rhyme, which isn't really
Yes.
him doing it, but it's
still in
kind of
his
similar.
property. Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't the final season of Sidestreet, is it?
Nope. No, there's one more season after this. So he does not end the show forever.
Didn't end this, but it's a one-off. He's only in it this one time.
Correct.
Well, I still feel like he got in some good early characteristics. He didn't get any, I know this is ridiculous and I'm in on the joke.
Oh, no. He felt very earnest in this. He was like, hey,
Yes.
Dad.
Yeah, this felt very Littlest Hobo when he's just like, hi, Mom. And he like hugging on his mom. In the scavenger hunt episode.
Yeah, I recall his quasi-incestuous mommy relationship in that. He's with actors that he will be in things later. I feel like that's sort of a universal characteristic.
And people that will go on to be in famous roles. Like will go on to be in like he's been with Sandra Bullock. He's been in movies with lots of people who would then go on to be in bigger things.
Yeah, they got that Garrett Wynne Davies bump, and they went on to other things.
Yeah, he gave him he was like, hey, here's a couple of tips. And they were like, great, thanks. And then they went on.
You are going to make a great doctor on Battlestar Galactica in 40 years. Just hang on.
You got this. So I think I would give it a good 2 raised eyebrows out of 5.
Okay.
Because, I feel like the ones that he could hit, he did. He had very little screen time. And this is
weird.
Very early days.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plot is about him, but he's not actually in it.
Yeah. The thing that I found the weirdest was the whole episode, I think beginning to end, is like 45 minutes long. So an hour with commercials.
51. And it feels like 5 hours.
It did. From the 70s, it did feel very long. But the first half, like he is fully in the first half, and then he disappears in the second half. But like the first half is pretty consistently him. He is in more scenes than he's not, I would say, in the first half. And yet it does feel like he's barely in it at all.
Yeah.
And it's, I can't really explain why he's in it and it feels like he's not. And it's short, but it feels like it's long. Like the whole thing, the time in 70s programs. I feel like when we watch stuff from the 70s, my whole sense of time is just, not that it's good anymore after COVID anyways, but my whole sense of time just goes,
yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. It took me 2 days to watch this.
He's like in scenes, but he's just like, And he has like,
he's not talking much.
The stupid black bruise on his cheek for a while where they're just like, just hit him with a pack of coal dust.
The bruise is, it's, I have to say, when I got to the credits and it said like director of continuity, I was like, girl, you kept, you knew when there was.
Did you lie on your resume?
Yeah.
Resume?
Because it's like on the one hand, you knew that a bruise was supposed to happen in this scene. And every time we see Ger after that scene, there is a bruise. So like continuity, check, thumbs up. But also whoever like the makeup girl was who did the bruise, why is it black? Why is it like a weird black streak going down his cheek from a doorknob bruise? Like it's
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of thinking it's one of those we have a CRT TV and we need it to come through and be visible, so it needs to be the bruisiest bruise that ever bruised. But
Mhm.
it's I will say the first time that I saw it, I almost didn't see the bruise because it just looks like a weird shadow. It just looks like there's
Yeah.
something falling on his face. And I was like, okay. And as I said, the first 3 times I saw the scene with the doorknob, I didn't know what was happening. I literally thought that he had tried to reach into the cabinet, grab the medal, and like maybe it was on like a ribbon, the way that like an Olympic medal would be, and that maybe he had whiplashed himself in the face. That's what I thought. I thought that he had fucked up his own crime. But it turns out, no, he was like a cat burglar / genius and decided that his parents wouldn't believe that someone had broken into the house to steal one medal and not harmed their son. Obviously, the son has to be involved in this and injured.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. We're not yawning because it's boring. We're yawning because we're so excited. So my rating is, as I always say, based on enjoyability. I don't know how to like I didn't hate it. It was faster than most of the 70s stuff that we've watched. It was more enjoyable than most of the 70s stuff that we watched. And obviously, like I'm liberal leftist scum. So anything with a moral message to the audience to make us, be better and care about important things more than caring about pop culture and sport and shit that doesn't actually have importance in terms of making people's lives better. Like obviously that hits like the warm part of my heart. Obviously I like that. But it's just weird. It feels like they had the right point, but they went about addressing it in the most insane way they possibly could have. Like he wants his son not to care about sports, so I guess I'm gonna blow up a church. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know how you got to that answer from that question. Like I don't know how you like it's just so bizarre. So I rated out of 10 for enjoyability. I'm gonna give it a 6 with a little question mark after the 6 because I enjoyed it more than I didn't enjoy it, but I'm sort of baffled by literally all the choices that were made in it. I get what he's going for in more. I get what he was going for more in this than with some of his earlier properties, where it's just like confusing about trying to understand what the tone was and what the point was and what the actors thought they were in. And I feel like I get the basic gist of this, like it's Law and Order plus a little bit of moral oral. There's a little bit of moralizing. So I feel like I get it, but it's not as successful as it could have been. Just as you said, I think just because it's the 70s and they weren't their idea of going like entertainment plus moralizing, they weren't able to blend that as seamlessly as we would expect today, maybe. But it's like it's fine. I think I wouldn't discourage people from watching it when we get it up on the YouTube channel. Like it's an hour. He's mostly in the first part and then 20 seconds from the end. And I will say that the actor who plays Tiny, I thought did a really good job showing a man struggling with his mental health and struggling emotionally and showing to the audience that the weight and the strain that he's under. I thought he was really compelling, especially when he's having a full-on breakdown on the phone with the cop and he's scratching up pictures of himself on the wall. Like, I used to be tiny. Who am I now? Is kind of the
yeah.
I keep saying the vibe. I hate that word, but like the theme of what he's coming across. And I think he was an excellent actor, and I think he did a great job at it. I just feel like the writing failed them a little bit. Like it's not super sophisticated, and it doesn't really have non-insane answers to the questions it asks. And then the only way that they figure out how to solve the problems of Tiny and society is by sending Tiny to jail. And like I feel like that doesn't it's just weird. It's just you get to the end of it and you're like, oh, is there more?
Yeah.
Is this going to be like Paid Vacation where we deal with like the I don't know, the problems of the legal system, or are we going to see that like no one still wants to punish Tiny and then he has a fuller breakdown and kills himself? Or like, I kept thinking there's one more thing that happens after this. And then the show was like, nope, 49 minutes, like done. You know, here's a list of credits and here's Chuck Mangione to play out some cool jazz again. It was just, it's I don't know, like tonally, I kind of want people to watch it and write in and tell us what they think. Cause tonally for me, I'm still thinking about it afterwards. I'm like, because it's almost like early Law and Order. You know how early Law and Order like would do a little bit of the moralizing, like Lenny Briscoe would have like a smart ass thought at the end of the episode that was also a little bit thoughtful, a little bit thought provoking, a little bit emotional, but like in a smart assy way, you know, not too serious. You can't put your heart all the way out on your sleeve, but he would reveal his true inner thoughts to the audience and like his, you know, the true thing that we should be thinking about society and the problems that we all have. But he would like squeak it out there. He would sneak it out a little bit, you know, under the guise of 7 layers of sarcasm and toughness and hot dog eating because he's Lenny Briscoe and he's very cool.
Yeah.
And I feel like even that feels like a lot more sophisticated than this. And like, that's not sophisticated. That's Jerry Orbach taking a break from Broadway to eat a hot dog and be like, that's a corpse. Like, that's not like the level of sophistication was not very high, but somehow 1980s Law and Order feels like 3 steps of sophistication above Sidestreet. I don't know. It's interesting. I feel like in the history of TV, that's why I'm interested in this. That's why I like this. I feel like it feels like the missing link. Like it feels like how we get to the procedural cop shows and the procedural medical examiner shows and all the procedural I'm doing my job, but I'm also commenting on the ills of society shows. This is the proto version of that. This is the baby egg version of that. So I think even if you're not, you know, super interested to watch Ger play hockey with his jaunty hockey helmet, I think it's worth giving a shot to. I don't know. Would you? I mean, probably we wouldn't watch it again, but.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd watch the series, but I'm not mad I watched this episode. I kind of want to watch another episode only to see how this compares to the way the other episodes are structured.
Yeah, where it's not the cop investigating his friend, presumably.
Yeah, do we often leave it off at the end or like that's the only reason I would watch another one is just to be like, why did we make the choice? Did we always make these choices? Like, is this like a theme in
and what's
show?
Especially weird is for a police show, the actual crime that they're investigating, the embezzlement, we never see it. We know nothing about the crime or the criminal, or like it's Law and Order without law or order. Like it's the actual, like the cop part we don't get, the lawyer part we don't get, the crime part we don't get any of the parts of the, you know, that a Law and Order show would show us. They're just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're cops and we were doing some stuff before Tiny's whole life exploded and we had to become, you know, social workers to deal with those problems. But yeah, there was an embezzlement and it happened over here, right off the edge of the screen. You can't see it, but cop work was happening. Is that how you do every episode, or was this like an extreme outlier?
Yeah, that's what I would want to know.
Well, I wonder if I haven't been able, I thought Sidestreet was one of the harder ones to find. If we didn't get it on this VHS, I don't think we ever would have been able to find it. But it would be interesting to give it a gander. If anyone at home has a VHS that's propping up a table and it's full of episodes of Sidestreet, please email us at gercangetit@gmail.com. Give us a little hello. Tell us what you want. We actually have signed posters. I'll discuss in a future episode why we have signed posters that we have signed of our own faces with our own names. But if that's something that you'd like to trade for some episodes of Sidestreet, you hit us up. Your girl's gotcha. Anyway, on that tantalizing note for why we have secret posters of our secret face for a secret project happening in the secret future. On that note, goodbye, friends.
Bye.